Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park in Connecticut. Craig Lutz of Miller Park, New York, won the Phoenix Communications 150 for his first victory and fourth of his career. Let's go trackside to Von Crittenden for pre-race ceremonies.
And we're down here in Dale Evans Victor Lane at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, where they are debuting brand new Musco LED lights that are going to be for the first time ever used in this race tonight. And that's going to be including a very special surprise that'll be debuting in just a moment, where there'll be a lot of different effects, colors, music that's going to definitely dazzle this crowd.
We are excited to be here. It's been a long time in the making. Von Crittenden, it's been a great night, and Buck Roos, we're ready to go. Pre-race ceremonies are getting ready to take place.
Yes, sir, Brian. 19 drivers took time. Everything from the now hot shoe to the legends of this series, all here tonight on this 4/10 mile facility in Hampton, Virginia, ready to take on one another for 150 laps of top competition underneath checkeredflag.com.
Let's go trackside.
From Musco Lighting, the world's best, right here. And we have Vaughn. What are you doing to me, Vaughn? Okay, here we go. And tell everybody your name and what you do.
Jason Miner with Thompson Consultant Engineers was the engineer that helped do all this.
Right. A lot of work that went behind this. We have the senior city councilman for the city of Hampton that helped us make this all happen as well. Billy Hobbs, thanks for coming out.
Oh, man, I'm glad to be here. I love the new lights. It was worth every penny.
And ladies and gentlemen, the president, the owner of Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, my good buddy, Mr. Bill Mullis, everybody.
Thank you, Chuck. It's great to be here with all the fans of Modified Tour, and I want to thank these guys, these engineers, Musco. You guys are going to see something absolutely amazing. And I'm the kid that always had like a slot car engine plugged into the wall, and my room was on fire. So I love big electricity and what they've done here. It's really good stuff. Thank you, guys.
Now, in a moment, we're going to throw the switch, because you've seen the new lights, and they're incredible. Do you like them, race fans? Do you like them? One of the big things is y'all are a lot of pretty people. We never realized that because it was so dark, but y'all are beautiful people, and thank you for coming out tonight to watch this big event. Also, Dave Lawson from checkeredflag.com. Want to appreciate your sponsorship here tonight. We have the Martinsville Pace Car is going to lead us in parade laps, and Casey Wyatt, the number 29 lay model, sponsored by Checkered Flag, will lead us in some parade laps tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the magic. Here's the top secret. Are you ready? That don't sound very good. That's okay. I'm going to be singing Elvis for the next 30 minutes. Are you ready? All right, let's count it down. 5, 4, 3. Hold on a second. Hold on. Get ready, Justin. Okay, he's holding the wires and the duct tape together. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it. Uh-oh, something happened.
Race fans, are you ready to meet the stars of the checkeredflag.com 150 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Series race? I think they're ready. Let's meet the stars of tonight's field. Rolling off in position number 19 from Hull, New Jersey. Race fans, for the first time in 2022 and making his 626th career start, Jamie Tomeno. Starting outside of row number 9 from East Haven, Connecticut, Walter Sutcliffe Jr. Starting in position number 17 from Wakefield, New Hampshire, put your hands together for Melissa Fifield. Starting in position number 16 from Ronkonkoma, New York, Gary McDonald. Starting in position number 15 from Calverton, New York, Ken Hagee. Starting in position number 14, outside the 7th row, from Center Reach, New York, J.R. Bertuccio. Starting inside row number 7, from Vernon, Connecticut, Gary Putnam. Starting outside row 6, from Holtsville, New York, J.B. Fortin. Starting inside row 6, from Bay Shore, New York, Kyle Bonsignor. And now your top 10 starters. From Riverhead, New York, in position number 10, driver of car number 58, Eric Goodell. Starting inside row number 5, from Ontario, New York, it's Tommy Catalano. Outside of row number 4, from Hummelstown, Pennsylvania, meet Kyle Ebersol. Starting in position number 7, from Rehoboth, Massachusetts, it's the rookie competitor, Jake Johnson. Outside of row number 3 in tonight's checkeredflag.com 150, from Miller Place, New York, let's meet Craig Lutz. On his inside, battling for a championship in 2022, from Norwalk, Connecticut, Ryan Silk. And now your top 4 starters for tonight's checkeredflag.com 150. Rolling off P4 this evening from Chelmsford, Massachusetts, John McKennedy. John McKennedy also battling for a championship. Starting position number 3 this evening from Northampton, Pennsylvania, another rookie competitor in 2022, Austin Beers. And now the front row for tonight's checkeredflag.com 150 on the outside pole. From Holtsville, New York, a multi-time champion, Justin Bonsignor. And race fans, let's meet the pole setter for tonight's checkeredflag.com 150. Also a multi-time, 6-time champion from Milford, Connecticut, Doug Kobe. And that, race fans, is the starting field for tonight's big one, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Series, as it makes its thunderous return to southeastern Virginia.
And I got to tell you, Austin Beers in that 64, he's the top qualifying Sunoco rookie of the race right now to start out from the 3rd position. His first trip to Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Great qualifying effort for the 64 machine. But man, look at that front row. Doug Kobe and Justin Bonsignor, the 7 and 51 machines. They're going to get belted in, and they're going to try to hold off this powerhouse field of 19 cars. Jamie Tomeno in the 99, what a history he has had, over 600 starts in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Got to watch him in plenty of races growing up. A lot of these drivers cutting their teeth coming through right now. 2 rookies in this field running for the Sunoco Rookie of the Year honors this year in 2022. And that is Austin Beers in the 64 and Jake Johnson in the 3 machine. Those 2 drivers starting inside the top 7 as rookies here at Langley. So they're going to find out what it's like to try to hold these machines under them for 150 laps. I think about by the time we reach lap 75, they're going to definitely get their education.
Absolutely. We cannot wait to watch this happen here this evening. It's been a long time in the making, and finally tonight it is the big night. As the season begins to wind down, just 4 more races remain following this evening's event as the season wraps up at nearby Martinsville, Virginia, just down the road here in the great Commonwealth of Virginia in the month of October. Now, winners this year include John McKennedy, of course, your point standings leader, Anthony Nasello, Jimmy Blewett, that is, Kyle Soper, and Justin Bonsignor. Mike Christopher Jr., Doug Kobe, and Matt Hirschman have all visited Winner's Circle this year, so we'll see who's able to do it here tonight. And, of course, it would be a big one. This is the 3rd time the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Series has rolled into town, and the previous 2 winners not competing tonight, including the defending winner, Ryan Preece.
Yeah, I tell you, it's something else to watch these drivers. The last time we were here, that was when Ryan Preece was making his announcement that he was actually going cup racing. So that was mighty interesting. That's 4 years ago. And Ryan now floating between rides, trying to figure out where he's going to land right at the moment. A lot of people said Stuart Haas, but I don't think we're going to find out exactly what's going to happen with him, because it's nice to see some contracts being signed up there. But right now, this NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, we've seen these cars at New Smyrna. We've seen them at Martinsville. We've watched them on Riverhead on FlowRacing.com. We've watched all kinds of great racing all season long in these modifieds. Like you said, 4 races left to go. The points battle's so tight. John McKennedy, you talked about him, the 79 machine. He will start from outside of row number 2 tonight. So a lot of these drivers really cutting their teeth here on this 4/10 mile facility in Hampton, Virginia, to try to see what they're going to do. The asphalt's a little worn. It's that perfect racing scenario you always hear a lot of the analysts talk about. Worn asphalt makes for the best racing, because you got to try to find the grip. You got to make the grip happen for the race car. And this track, it's one of those fun ones. You come down the front stretch and you can see the black mark. It never stops turning. There's really no straightaway here on the back or the front, unless you physically look at the track and you go, okay, that's the back stretch, this is a front stretch. The cars angle off of turn number 2 after making 2 sets of turns down in 1 and 2. You drive down into turn 1, you have to angle the car, then you have to turn a second time. You pretty much aim right for the center of the backstretch, and you'll see a few black marks back there on the wall right now, already pre-race. They've already been put there during practice. So that's your center angle to go down into turn 3, and right there what you're seeing on your screen, you rotate right down and get those left side tires on the apron, and you aim for the front stretch start-finish line, and that's a lap around Langley Speedway. And if you can get that done 150 times to the best and most optimum way, we're going to be talking to you in Dale Lemon's Victory Lane.
We'll find out how it all happens here tonight 150 times around this 4/10 mile oval. As you just heard from Buck Roosh, you're constantly turning, even on the straightaways, which aren't so straight. We can't count out 6-time champion Doug Kobe. Of course, he's rolling off from the pole position. He dominated the inaugural NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour event back in 2017. He led 134 of the 150 laps until misfortune relegated him to a 15th place finish. Tonight, he rolls off again, P1. Somebody we'll keep our eyes on at car number 7 as he is ready to go here tonight. 19 drivers in total, 2 rookies are ready to go here this evening. It's just a matter of moments. Let's go trackside to fire these engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
That is a checkered flag engine command, if I would ever heard one, to crank these machines up, and man, you can feel the tower rumble from the horsepower.
19 cars come to life on the front stretch in Hampton, Virginia at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tours is back, and they're ready to go here this evening. The new Musco lighting system is on. One of the oldest running NASCAR short tracks is back to life here tonight with a top touring series. So glad that you're joining us here this evening. A tight points battle is certainly heating up. John McKennedy of Kilmsford, Massachusetts took over the top spot in the standings following last week's event. He and Ron Silk got together on a couple of occasions that night. Ron suffered damage and finished 12th. He now leads the standings. That is John by Ron by 5 points headed into tonight's contest. The points again heating up not only for the top two, but also Eric Goodell right there ready to mix it up as well. He's just 16 markers back in third. Justin Bonsignor is fourth, and Kyle Bonsignor, his cousin, just 40 markers back in fifth spot. So as you get closer to the end of the season, certainly thinking about those points, and these drivers are.
And Kyle Bonsignor starts from the 11th starting spot. He's back there with J.B. Ford and Gary Putnam and J.L. Bertuccio, who all have laps around this racetrack. And we've seen them drive through the field, especially Bertuccio. A couple of times ago, I think he was in here in 2017, had a solid run, drove his way up into the top three, had a small issue, had to come from the back of the pack again, drove himself back into the top three by the finish. So the two machine, don't count him out. He knows how to get around this racetrack, even though he's starting on the outside of row number 7. As we look down at Kyle Bonsignor's 22 machine right into the wheelhouse, he'll be holding onto that steering wheel and try to work his way around this 4/10 mile of Langley Speedway to the best of his abilities. That's for sure. That 22 car, once again, don't count him out. There is Doug Coby, and he's got that Richie Evans sticker right on the top left of the windshield. The legend himself, Hall of Famer Richie Evans, that orange 61 machine, we always saw it. And man, you can't say enough about Tom Baldwin and Tommy Baldwin, the owner of this car. The 7NY emblazoned on the side of his machine, celebrating his dad. Tommy Baldwin, the car owner, championship crew chief of the Daytona 500, Cup team car owner in the past. His heart has always been right here underneath these modifieds with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Touring Series, and that is that 7NY machine, and it is on the pole.
Tommy Baldwin Racing has won 4 events this year, more than any other team, and currently leads the team owner standings. Of course, Doug Coby piloting that car tonight. Also, Mike Christopher Jr. and Jimmy Blewett have all went to winner's circle. Track backs here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway as it celebrates its 72nd season of competition in the beautiful city of Hampton in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's .397 or 4/10 around. Banking just 6 degrees in the turns, 2 degrees on the straightaways, and it's plenty wide to go 2 and 3 wide. Langley has been home to stock car racing's biggest names like Richard Petty, Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, and former track champion Denny Hamlin. The NASCAR Cup Series has even competed over here many times throughout the years. The field now rolling down the backstretch as we prepare for tonight's checkeredflag.com 150.
Yes, sir, that front row right there, we've talked about it continuously today because they are so dominant. Their record proves it. The championship's just across the front row of Doug Coby in the 7NY machine and Justin Bonsignor in the 51. The second row with Austin Beers in that 64, a Sunoco Rookie of the Year candidate, and the top qualifying rookie in the 64 machine to his outside. John McKennedy, we see him in the 79 there. As we go back through our field, Ron Silk in that 16. We talked about his wins this year with Craig Lutz in the 82 to his right shoulder. Right out the right side of that car. A couple of great competitors that have shown some serious muscle in 2022. Jake Johnson, the 3 machine. Another run of the Sunoco rookie candidates starting inside of row number 4 in that 3 machine with Kyle Ebersol in the 5. Always a threat every racetrack for that 5 machine out here. 9th and 10th starting spots. We'll find Tommy Catalano, in the 54 and Eric Goodale in the 58, who won at Richmond Raceway earlier this year, so trying to keep his Virginia streak alive. Kyle Bonsignor, we talked about the 22 car driver, starts 11th with J.B. Ford to his right elbow in the 34. Gary Putnam, he's been a strong candidate here at Langley in the past. In the 77, he's got J.R. Bertuccio in the 2 car to his outside. Ken Hagee in the 18 machine, and Gary McDonald start in row number 8. They'll start 15th and 16th in the 18 and 26 cars. Melissa Field in the number 01 machine, with Walter Sutcliffe Jr. to her outside in the 78. And Jamie Tamano, we talked about him all night long. Jimmy Tamano, pardon me, a legend in the sport. Cheered him on a lot at Martinsville Speedway when I was a little kid. Awesome to see him down on pit road here at Langley Speedway today.
And speaking of that driver, we're talking about Jamie Tomeno. He makes his 626th career start, his first one here in 2022. Somebody to keep your eyes on. 7 drivers, including Jamie, will make their first appearance here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Should make for a very interesting race. And a couple of those drivers also making their first start. It's the points championship battle between John McKennedy and Ron Silk as they continue to circle around this 4/10 of a mile oval. In a matter of moments, we're going to turn them loose and see who can get it done here this evening as Doug Covey right there with Justin Bonsignor ready to do battle as the gloves are going to come off here in just a matter of moments, and it is going to be a fun one here tonight.
Yep, checkerflag.com, haggle-free, commission-free, 3-day money-back guarantee. Official sponsor of tonight's event, checkerflag.com. They've got your next new ride. These rides out here on the racetrack, though, premiumly built. We've got Fury race cars, Troyers, Bowlers. We've got all kinds of different builds of cars out here, but they're getting ready to go after each other. LFR chassis, and they're ready to go racing. Brian, it looks like the lights are off atop the pace truck. The Thunder's about to be unleashed on Langley Speedway.
Lights are off the pickup truck as it leads the field as they form through turns 1 and 2. 19 thunderous NASCAR Whelen modified tour cars are ready to go to battle here this evening. Somebody is going to go to winner's circle. We're going to find out who it is. Kyle Ebersol, that is, from Hummelstown, Pennsylvania, is the only competitor in tonight's field that has won a modified tour race here in the past. Pace truck hits pit lane. We're set for 150 laps of competition. Green flag is out. The NASCAR Whelen modified tour returns to Hampton, Virginia.
You feel the thunder as they roll down into turn number 1. Off of turn number 2, it's going to be Doug Covey on the brake. A great run on the outside, but Justin Bonsignor, he'll fall down into the second position.
Good battle for third as they race through turns 3 and 4. Right there, that is Austin as he takes that car on the inside. Austin Beers, they work off at turn number 2 as they continue to go side by side. Of course, that's John McKennedy. He's trying to capture as many points as he possibly can. Now we're going to high. 2 laps on the scoreboard.
Beers does not want to give up that third spot. He's fighting back on the inside. He's got McKennedy up on the outside trying to hang tough. There's still wheelhouse to wheelhouse working their way through turn 3. Now swinging off of turn 4. These wide tires outside the top on Silk trying to take over that 4th spot. A little bit of nerve bar play between the 3rd and 4th place machines.
They continue to go side by side through on this racetrack. As right now, the one-car track see right there on the inside is going to break into great lots. He won the motion recently. Last week, here now, they work on the turn number 4. 5 laps on the scoreboard.
Finally to the bottom, Kennedy was able to get back in line. Now we're single file pretty much close to the field until you get back to Eric Goodale. He's got one machine to his outside, but there, as they come down into turn number 3, they work their way off of turn number 4 and down the front stretch. Stuck on the outside, looks to be the 54 machine, pardon me, of Tommy Catalano. He's stuck on the outside of the racetrack. Goodale looked to his left elbow, trying to get by. A little bit of contact. They roll down into turn number 3. Now here comes Bonsignor. Not Kyle Bonsignor. Not Jason Pusley Bonsignor, but Kyle Bonsignor making the move. Working to the inside of Kyle Ebersol. They'll trade spots on the racetrack. That looks like for about 7th place.
Tommy Catalano started the event in 9th. He's right now running in 11th spot. Cannot get the car turned down the bottom. He's from Ontario, New York. In that 54 car trying to cut down there. Can't do it. Here comes J.B. Ford in the 34 car as they go by on turns 1 and 2. Here they come closer to the front. A good battle there. You see Austin Beers rides along in 3rd spot. You've got the Oinstein's guy 2nd. That's Ron Silk in the 16 car. Trying to beat down the bottom. Couldn't quite do it. Falls in line behind the 64 cars. They work down the backstretch as they continue to chase that 51 car. Justin Bonsignor rides in 2nd. About 3 car lengths behind race leader Doug Covey.
J.B. Ford on the attack on Eric Goodale right now. Looked underneath him into turn number 3. Thought better of it, fell in line. Now a little bit of clanking on the nerve bars on the front end and back end of those 2 machines. They ride modified right behind the 3 of Jake Johnson on the racetrack. A little bit of a green backstretch, a little bit more of a better run to the bottom of the facility. For Gordon, he's got those left sides right down on that apron and then complete the pass off the floor.
Moved him up to position number 10, talking about J.B. Gordon, that 34 car. Following in his tire tracks is the 54 car. That's J.B. Gordon trying to get down there as well. Strapped on the high side, car number 58. Works through turns 3 and 4. And put down 13 laps on this board here this evening. NASCAR Whelen modified tour at Hampton's Langley Speedway. Watching the 34 car work down the backstretch. That's J.B. Gordon and Tommy Catalano. And car number 54 as they work through 3 and 4.
Yeah, Catalano got trucked up on the outside early on. He's trying to make up some of those spots right now, but it looks like Fortin's able to really run. But there is your leader right now, Doug Kobe. That 7NY machine. He's set on the pole, and he has led every lap thus far. 15 laps now in the books for the NASCAR Whelen Modifieds here tonight at the checkeredflag.com 150. So they got to get to lap 75 before they even hit halfway tonight. We usually have 75 or 50 lap runs by most race series out here. Tonight, 150 laps for this touring series as they come in the NASCAR Roots program. And man, Doug Covey and Justin Bonsignor have led the way since the drop of the green flag. What a great run still by the rookie candidate right now of Austin Beers. He held off a hard-charging Ron Silk a few laps ago, and now it looks like it's time to log some laps here at Langley Speedway.
Here's the race leader, Doug Kobe, who dominated this race a few years ago. It was the inaugural event, led multiple laps. Tonight, he's trying to back it up and actually get the win. There is car number 16, Ron Silk, battling it out with Craig Lutz in the 82 car. As, looks like a car in the wall, hard in the wall in turns 3 and 4.
That's Bertuccio.
So car number 2 and the 26 of Gary McDonald go around. So at least 2 cars involved in our first incident, and that slows us here early on lap number 18.
And telltale smoke coming out of the header pipes of J.R. Bertuccio's machine, and he's going to drop the window nuts. So he is definitely done for the night. Saw a ball of flame come out from underneath the hood of that machine. The young man in the number 2 car climbing out, definitely not a happy camper, making sure that nothing is still on fire in the number 2 car. So the Center Reach New York Gershow Recycling number 2 looks like it's going to be the first car out of the event tonight for the checkeredflag.com 150 lap event.
This is the second start for J.R. Bertuccio here in this 2022 season. It's his first start here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. In his first 37 tour starts, he has 1 top 10 finish at Riverhead Raceway in 2019. Unfortunately, he will not back that up here this evening.
And remember, when they do have their break, when they enter pit road, they'll exit the same way. So it's not like the Cup Series when you come in and it's just a battle and whoever comes off first. You enter pit road and exit pit road in the same positions. It's called a controlled caution. And so they'll be able to do such a thing when we get our race break. So once again, it is Doug Kobe out front. Definitely a view he's used to in his career. 6-time champion leading our 3-time champ right behind him, Justin Bonsignor. And once again, the top 3 pretty much staying the same right now. Austin Beers, the rookie, the Sunoco rookie candidate, runs in the 3rd position. And right behind him, Ron Silk made a couple of quick moves. He had dropped back about 2 or 3 spots early on, made a couple of inside moves and brought that 16 car back up inside the top 4. And right behind him was going to be the 82 of Craig Lutz, who was another driver who got a little bit squirrely right on the opening lap. Tried to come down, and he came right up, I believe it was Kyle Ebersol's machine. He came right across the front bumper bar had a little bit of a wiggle, saved the car, and he's a solid top 5 right now in that 82.
So Gary McDonald was the 2nd car involved in that incident. He has been able to roll on. Gary McDonald in his 15th year of competition finished 17th back in the 2018 event. Did not suffer as much damage as, of course, J.R. Bertuccio, who has retired from that event. That car continues to set against the outside retaining wall in turns 3 and 4. Yellow flag number 1 here early on in this event. Just 22 laps have been completed. Again, Doug Kobe is in command of this race and has set a pretty good pace here early on.
Yeah, and you see pit road is closed, just like you can see sometimes in the Cup Series. They have a red flashing light. Well, what they used to do is the same thing we have here at Langley tonight, and that's a gentleman standing down there at the entrance of pit road with a flag. Now the green flag will come out, so pit road will be open this time, but last time he had that red flag with that yellow X on it. That lets these drivers know you cannot enter pit road without penalty. So right now, you see the green flag unfurling, so next time by, if some of these drivers about probably mid-pack on back want to make at least an adjustment, not so much put a brand new tire on or fill up with fuel or nothing like that just yet, but if they'd like to go ahead and maybe throw a wrench in there, crank on it a couple of times, and it looks like we are going to have some takers starting with the 3 of Jake Johnson. That car, as soon as they threw the green flag, it did not want to get into the racetrack. It was dancing all over the place on the young driver. So like I said, there goes the wrench into the adjustment, and they're going to put 1, 2, 3 rounds into the right rear of that car, so she was tight. Needed to loosen it up a little bit. Going to drop it down into the left side of the chassis and making a full wholesale adjustment on the rear end of that machine. Gary Putnam also coming down pit road in the 77.
Walter Sutcliffe Jr. also in pits here in this very, very early yellow flag after 23 laps.
Yeah, so we're going to see if these cars can roll forward now after these adjustments. But it was no surprise to see the 3 of Jake Johnson, one of our Sunoco Rookie of the Year contenders, come down pit road after starting in 7th, had drifted all the way back in the field to where he was running around 9th or so. And he and J.B. Fortin were really getting a lot of bumper tag out there. They were playing with those front horns you see on this car, the Nerf bars across the front end to the back end of that 3 machine. And he was holding on for everything he had to make sure he could stay ahead of him in about 8th or 9th place out there. And man, this caution flag couldn't have come at a better time for him. 24 laps in. Once again, caution flag laps do count, so you got to keep an eye on that when they come down pit road, unlike when we saw our first 3 divisions of the night where cautions don't. Anything over 100 laps, caution flags count.
Gary McDonald is back down pit road. He scored in the 18th position. That was a car that actually spun with J.R. Bertuccio here to bring out our first yellow flag. So continuing to circle behind the pace truck at a much reduced speed. Cleanup happening over in turns 3 and 4. Speedy dry has been applied to the racing surface to help get the moisture up. So we see the race officials down there working through as the lights blinking on the pace truck, indicating there will be at least a couple of more laps or so before we turn this field loose once more. As great action early on, Doug Kobe has been in command of this race over Justin Bonsignor, who currently rides along in 2nd, and Austin Beers, as you mentioned, Buck Roos, a top rookie right now, running in 3rd spot. The other rookie in the field was just down pit road. That was Jake Johnson in car number 3, and there you see the other driver that took advantage of this most recent caution to come down pit lane. That was Gary Putnam. So again, drivers making some adjustments, especially early on. If the car's not handling to your liking when you're under the caution flag, you definitely want to come down pit lane and take advantage of that.
Yeah, Gary McDonald, it looked like he's running coilovers because the gentleman had one of those arced wrenches where it locks into the top of the coilover, drives the spring down. It means the shock goes down the center of the spring instead of having the shock out separate and then the spring setting in a bucket on the front end of the car. They're both one piece in unity. So the shock goes down through the middle, and you drive the spring down on to the shock mount a little bit harder to get stiffness or let out a little bit. And it looked like he was putting in maybe about 2 rounds into that right front on that 26 car to try to get it more down into the track a little bit with that right front. Maybe the car a little bit too loose on exit, wants to tighten it up maybe from the center off to get a little bit of roll in the 26 machine.
Again, drivers talking it over with their crew chiefs, making the necessary adjustments. Several top runners elected not to come down pit lane, that is. They wanted to stay out on the racing surface so they don't lose track position. As again, we're early on in a 150-lap event. Just 26 have been completed. Cleanup almost completed over there in turns 3 and 4. As again, we continue to see Doug Kobe at the head of the field as he's trying to make it happen here tonight. Something like redemption, particularly when you dominate an event, Buck Roos, and you have problems right at the end of the event. You don't leave the property real happy.
No, not at all. And Doug Kobe has dominated many a race here, but he wants to get to Dale Emmons victory lane. Like you said, your leader is Doug Kobe in the 7. Justin Bonsignor in the 51 runs 2nd. Austin Beers in the 64 3rd. Ron Silk in the 16 4th. Craig Lutz in the 82 runs 5th, with John McKennedy in the 79 and 6th spot. Kyle Bonsignor in the 22 7th. and Kyle Ebersol in the 5 runs 8th. J.B. Fortin hanging on to 9th place after a great drive towards the front in the 34 machine. Tommy Catalano in the 54 machine runs 10th. Eric Goodale in the 58 runs 11th, with Ken Hagee in the 18 12th, and Jamie Tomeno in the 99, who started shotgun on the field, 19th. He is 13th right now. Melissa Fifield in the 01 machine runs in the 14th spot, with Jake Johnson, Gary Putnam, and Gary McDonald and Walter Sutcliffe Jr. all coming down pit road. Our only retiree from the event after engine woes is J.R. Bertuccio in the 2 machine.
Interesting enough, you talked about Doug Kobe in car number 7 near the front of the field. He's led 294 laps this year. That's the most of any other competitor so far this season. So that car right at the front where you need it to be. He has an average finish this year of 5.1. So the 6-time champion, who's won a title in 2012, backed it up in 14, 15, all the way through 16 and 17. His most recent title came back in 2019. So he's ready to do it again. 33 career NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour wins. Doug Kobe, always a threat to win here.
Yeah, usually driving his 10 machine, but we heard him talk after he won the pole earlier today about how he's been driving a little bit for Tommy Baldwin here and there, and they had such good success with him in their car that Tommy's like, hey, I got a good wheel man. I got a good race car here. Let's put them together a few more times. So he didn't even know really early on in this season that he was going to be driving the 7NY car tonight, but it came through. They put the deal together. He's here. He's on the pole, and so far 29 laps on the board, and they've all belonged to Tommy Baldwin Racing.
Doug Kobe on a week-to-week basis to figure out if he's going to ride in this car or not. Just celebrated his 43rd birthday last Thursday. How sweet would that be to take that car to winner's circle? Lights have went off the pace truck. We're set to go back green flag racing. Again, it's Doug Kobe, Justin Bonsignor on row 1, Austin Beers and Ron Silk on row 2. Coming to the restart here at lap number 30. Pace truck makes the hard left. The field now in command. Green flag is out. Racing returns in Hampton, Virginia.
Solid restart by both front row drivers, but it looks like it's going to be Beers with the advantage over Bonsignor now. The 64 machine to the bottom of the racetrack. Tight battle for the second spot. They make a little contact. Both cars wiggle. They come through the stage run. Bonsignor on top for second.
Bonsignor sideways, as was Austin Beers. They gathered it back together as they work off of turn number 2. A good run for the 22. That driver, Kyle Bonsignor, looks down to the inside as they go side by side a little further back. We're watching Kyle Bonsignor run over John Kennedy. That's a battle for 6th spot. As Frank Putz has also joined the party just in front of them in car number 82. He's being scored at the moment in 5th spot as they work down the backstretch.
Jamie Fortin's got a rocket ship, buddy. I tell you what, the 34 machine, he's been coming through the field steadily. Now finds his way inside of the McKennedy machine, working to the bottom. He'll go ahead and take that spot, give him the 7th running position on the racetrack. Here comes Ron Silk. He's looking under Beers off of turn 4.
Eric Goodale also trying to make a pass here as we look closer to the front. Right now, P3, it belongs to Austin Beers. Ron Silk wants it. He falls in line right behind him coming off of turn number 2. There's Eric Goodale in that good mix as they work down the backstretch.
Yeah, Goodale getting a great run on Ebersol down on the bottom of the track, able to make the pass. You see Silk, every time he comes off of turn number 2, he's getting a better and better run on the Beer 64 machine. Now he's got his hands full of Craig Lutz. Lutz all over the back bumper of the 16 machine, and he's got a fast-running Kyle Bonsignor right behind him. But, man, that 34 car once again diamonds 3 and 4. And look to the inside of Bonsignor. That is Kyle Bonsignor in the 22. J.B. Fortin is flying around this 4/10 mile facility.
Here they come, working through turns 3 and 4 to put 37 laps on the scoreboard. Single file at the moment. One car looking to get out of line. That is the 34 entry. That being piloted by J.B. Fortin, trying to work over the 22. Puts the nose on the inside. Side by side to make contact. Going in turns 3 and 4. J.B. Fortin versus Kyle Bonsignor. J.B. Fortin will take that spot. Move him up now to P6. Kyle Bonsignor falls to 7th. John McKennedy looks on as he looks down to the inside as they race off of 2.
Yeah, John McKennedy was able to get a great run because Bonsignor went 3/4 of the way up the entire embankment down in 3 and 4, trying to save his machine after a little bit of contact. McKennedy's going to have to drop back in line behind Kyle Bonsignor in the 22 machine, and that battle will end just about as fast as it began. But still, your leader, Doug Kobe, out front. Ron Silk trying to do his best as we watch these two machines work around the track of Kyle Bonsignor. And they work down into turn number 1. Man, I tell tell you what, that battle for third is something else. It's been going since the drop of the green flag with Beers' machine trying to hold off Ron Silk.
One fast race car is Craig Lutz. Right now he occupies the 5th spot as we watch another good battle here on the Speedway. That is the 54 of Tommy Catalano as he is just ahead right now of the 58 car. That's Eric Goodell. That's a battle for positions 10, 11, and 12 as they work over in 3 and 4. There's car number 5. That's Kyle Ebersol as he tries to make his way closer to the front. There's the distance between first and second. The 51 car of Justin Bonsignor is in second. Right now behind him in third is Austin Beers, who continues to set a good pace early on in this event.
Yeah, Austin Beers right there in that green and yellow, green and gold and orange white top 64 machine with that bright silver and bright rocket red number 16 of Silk. Ron Silk right behind him. Craig Lutz had driven his orange machine right up to the back end of that silver car for a couple of laps, and now they've sort of separated by about a car length and a half. Doug Kobe's going to start catching lap traffic here in about maybe 4 more laps. A few cars up ahead of him as we watch Ron Silk's machine roll down into the corner. And like I said, you want to try to get those left side tires right on the stripe, if not down actually on the apron on the exit of turn number 4. You'll see Silk roll in right here, and there's where you got to actually turn a second time. You see the wheels actually arc just a little bit, and he drives down into turn 3 here, gets it right down on the yellow stripe, gets those left side tires just a little bit of a kiss on the apron. That lap around Langley was a great lap around Langley for the 16 machine. Now it's going to be some lap traffic, and Austin Beers has a little bit of trouble getting around the 01 machine.
That's Melissa Fifield from Wakefield, New Hampshire, as now the 16 car of Ron Silk is able to bypass her on the outside. Now Ron Silk has a 17 NASCAR modified Tour career wins, although he's winless here in 2022. His last win came in September up in the great state of New York. He's trying to change that stat here in 2022. The most recent winners behind him and Craig Lutz as they work off of turn number 4 and back to turn 1. Watching Kyle Bonsignor, that 22 car. He rides the tire tracks there of J.B. Fortin and car number 34 as they race in position 6 and 7.
They worked around some lap traffic there, and Fortin having a little bit of trouble working through the center of 1 and 2 around that traffic. Allowed Bonsignor to roll right back up on the back end of the 34 car. He was about less than a half a car length off the back end of Craig Lutz just a couple of laps ago, and you see how much trouble he had with the lap traffic. Now it's 2 car lengths trying to catch back up to that orange machine. Fortin trying to get back into his rhythm, get everything back underneath him to try to chase down the 82 machine. And there is that orange and red numeral 82 car. Craig Lutz, what a great run he's had in 2022. One of the drivers that just about anywhere they unload these modified cars is always a top 5 car every time.
And he's right there solidly in position number 5 at the moment as he rides right behind Ron Silk, who occupies the 4th spot. Bottom way around the racetrack, that's the quick way, and everybody tucked down to the inside as they circle this racetrack. Looks like 1/3 of this event is now complete as we watch J.B. Fortin just behind in car number 34, riding in 6th spot with Kyle Bonsignor in 2. He's riding along in 7th spot. One of the drivers we've had our eyes on this evening that has moved his way closer to the front, J.B. Fortin. J.B. Fortin in car number 34 trying to get ever closer to the front. Right now that car is riding along in 6th spot after starting the event in 12th. He's trying to keep the 22 of Kyle Bonsignor at bay.
Yeah, the Holtzville, New York native and his Chevrolet had a great run through the field. That lap traffic, I don't know if it might have caused him to burn the right rear a little bit when he came off of turn 2. Like I said, the car got a little out of shape. It allowed Craig Lutz to drive away from him just a little bit. So Lutz in that 82 car being able to drive away, well, that might have been what happened. He just caught that right rear just right. It doesn't take much here, Langley, when you're turning the whole time to overheat that right rear tire, make it so it doesn't want to get back down in the track. And here comes Kyle Bonsignor. He's going by the 34 Fortin, so Fortin's car, definitely the handling starting to go away now.
So Kyle Bonsignor started 11th, now finds himself inside the top 6, put him up to position 6. So Kyle Bonsignor trying to march his way to the front. There's car number 18 as we see him work through turns 1 and 2 in 13th spot. That's Ken Hagee. He is just behind Jake Johnson in car number 3 as they work through turns 1 and 2. Make that 3 and 4, I should say, here at lap number 57. Single file at the moment. Everybody minding their P's and Q's at the moment as they're trying to log some laps as we get closer to the first half of this event. Watching your point standings leader, car number 79. That's being piloted by John McKennedy. from Gilmsford, Massachusetts in the Middlesex Interior Chevrolet. He works off of turn number 2, looking to make a pass there on J.B. Fortin. That would be a battle for 7th spot as they go by on the high side of Melissa Fifield. She's the only female full-time competitor in this division.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I said, we have a bunch of females racing here at Langley in our regular series, but always good to look through the series and see young ladies and the diversity that's going on all the way even up to the Cup Series. And I love it in NASCAR right now. It is great. We watch it here in the NASCAR Roots. And once again, you can check out all the point systems and everything. Go to NASCAR.com, check the drop-down menu, find NASCAR Roots. Click on that, and you can find everything from your local NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series racing to this NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Look at the point standings, read all the stories, and keep up with these great drivers who entertain us week after week.
Talked about J.B. Fortin marching his way to the front. He's having a hard time trying to keep John McKennedy behind him. Watching cars circle through turns 3 and 4. That is the 34 being piloted by Fortin, trying to keep McKennedy at bay. McKennedy looked briefly to the high side. Say I couldn't get by on the inside. Now he'll try to make a run coming off of turn number 2. Puts the nose of the car on the inside, goes side by side in 3 and 4. John McKennedy trying to overtake that 7th spot. Indeed, he'll do so. Fortin cuts back down to the inside, but here comes car number 58, Eric Goodell. He's going for that spot as well.
Fortin's car went away wholesale. I don't know what happened, but it happened all at one time. He was up there right behind Craig Lutz. Now he's a complete technical straightaway in a corner behind the 82 car and losing spots wholesale. So I don't know if he really hurt that car trying to work around the lap traffic, if that's exactly what it was. But now he's even in the clutches of Jake Johnson, who came down pit road, the 3 car, making his way by, and Kyle Eversol's right behind him in the 5 machine. So he's coming into your camera view every once in a while. But J.B. Fortin, who looked like, I called it earlier, had a rocket ship. He drove right to the front. Don't know if he might have abused the right front doing so or abused the right rear working on lap traffic. But he's got his hands full right now, that's for sure, out here on this racetrack. Your leaders working traffic masterfully. Down in turn 3, getting ready to swing off in turn 4. Doug Kobe, you can't say enough about Tommy Baldwin and his team coming here. Here goes the 3-car Johnson. He's going to go to the inside. He's going to go on by Fortin right now. So Fortin not even really putting up a battle right at the moment. I mean, we're not even halfway yet, so don't need to really get into a bare knuckle dragged out fight right now with the car. Right now, fight your car, get to the brake. Let's go into pit road, try to come back out with something a little bit faster. But there's Tommy Baldwin's machine, and with Doug Covey behind the wheel. And we mentioned how much domination Doug Covey's had here in 2022. Jamie Tomeno, the legend, right in front of this 6-time champion, working to his outside now. Tomeno in that bright numeral number 99 car. The 7NY, Doug Covey out front. The 78 machine, Walter Sutcliffe Jr., also in your shot there, trying to work around the outside. Watching these cars make their way down into turns 3 and 4. And there's the 82 machine of Craig Lutz working around the racetrack.
So now 13 cars are on the lead lap. Jamie Tomeno just went -1 as race leader Doug Covey continues to set a blistering pace. His advantage now more than a second and a half over Justin Bonsignor, who rides along in 2nd spot. And watching the 3rd place, Austin Beers come to life. He's going to work trying to change 2nd position. Austin Beers, car number 64, down the backstretch, looking to try to overtake the veteran racer as they work through 3 and 4. And now they're in lap traffic, so not only do you have to negotiate trying to keep a driver at bay, you got to choose which line to pass the lap drivers, who also are in a battle of their own. Looks like Justin Bonsignor will choose to go to the top side. They are the 78 of Walter Sutcliffe, and we've got a yellow flag on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think I saw debris laying down there in the top entrance of turn 1 and 2, up close to the wall, but still that could have been possibly out there. I didn't see a car go around, but I'd seen in a couple of camera shots, there it is. It looks like it's one of the breather covers laying on the racetrack off the top of one. It's actually the air filter itself laying on the racetrack. I could see that for a few laps, but it was just outside of the actual track. But if you get a couple of bumps, you're right up into that. So caution number 2 for debris.
Yellow flag number 2 flies at lap 73. A debris caution, as you just heard, over in turn 1. No air cleaner for J.B. Fortin in car number 34. That's going to be a tough break for the driver running in 11th spot. And we talked about how he was working his way to the front, and all of a sudden, he started backpedaling.
Well, I'll tell you, that's one thing that a lot of people in engineering will understand completely. The air filter, the engines are built to run an especially very thin, exact mixture of air to fuel ratio. And the way they build these cars and these modifieds, those air filters, the breather covers stick up right up top. That's the carburetor you're seeing sticking out of the top of that hood right there. That's actually the pins that hold in that breather cover, so obviously not getting tightened down. So now nothing but air coming straight in. It's not filtered, it's not held. So that could have been exactly what we've been talking about. And watching him fade, it was a horsepower issue. So they're going to try to probably get another breather cover back on the top of that car to make sure, and then they're going to try to get the bolt loosened up there, and they're going to try to replace that possibly, because like I said, they need an exact fuel to air ratio in these machines, and without that, it definitely affects the horsepower. So you see the young man there working on it, trying to get the bolt out, a brand new bolt going in. So they're going to put a new breather cover on there, and they're going to put a new air filter. So we're going to see the same horsepower coming out of that 34 car that we saw earlier in the night, if they can get that back in here. So they're going to make sure they don't lose a lap, because once again, caution laps do count. So this lap, here they all come. It's wholesale time on pit road, buddy.
All the drivers decide, or most of the drivers decide, to come down pit road, including your race leader, car number 7, Doug Covey, as it looks like tires are being changed here. Everybody down pit road electing to get fresh rubber on these race cars. This track very abrasive. These drivers wanting to get the fresh rubber on there.
So a couple of drivers were electing to go brand new rear tires. Then all of a sudden it looked like a crew chief executive decision on the 7 machine to go full on new right side tires for Doug Covey instead of just doing the rear tires. We've seen that a bunch at Riverhead and different racetracks. They go rear tires because they want the most drive off the corner. Well, you're turning the whole time here. We've well documented that tonight. So they're going to want all brand new right side tires mostly on these cars, and that's exactly what you're seeing all the way up and down pit road. Brand spanking new right side tires to get the most grip and the most action out of these modified cars. Now, the other thing you're going to probably have to look at is you want to tighten the car up a little bit, because now you've got old tires on the left, new tires on the right. Right side's going to be a lot of grip. Left side's going to be trying to float around on you on the entrance of the corners. That's the loosest time on these modified machines. When you're driving it into the corner, it wants to float around, and when you're coming off the corner and you start putting all that horsepower down to the ground, it's trying to dance off the corner on you. So these right side tires, it's going to be fun to see, but right now, Doug Covey and Tommy Baldwin and his race team, they've got their number at the moment.
So caution flag number 2, 2 laps prior to the halfway mark. A new air cleaner going on the J.B. Fortin car. Not quite. Looks like it wasn't the right size for the 28-year-old who comes into this race 10th in the championship standings. He's still searching for that first win. And right now he'll come back down on the racetrack to stay on the lead lap, but he will be back down pit road to make that repair on that race car.
That's a development. Kyle Eversol's car is being held on pit road, so I don't know what might have happened down there on pit road during his stop. Don't know if he might have ran over equipment, ran over an air hose or something like that. Some of that still comes into play even with the modified tour here for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. So this is an interesting development right here for a young man who's and now the go sign finally coming out.
We do have a 50-50 winning ticket. It's worth $1,023 for the Scottish Rite group. Go down and visit the Scottish Rite table. The winning ticket number is 186219. That's 186219. Please go to the Scottish Rite table. You have won the 50-50. Yellow flag number 2 here at Hampton, Virginia's Larry King Law's Langley Speedway because of debris on the racetrack coming from this driver from Holtsville, New York, J.B. Fortin in car number 34. As lap after lap they try to make the repair. It looks like it has been completed. That car now rolls. He'll be coming back out on the racetrack, but did he lose a lap there, Buck?
Yes. Unfortunately, the team was trying to get the breather cover on there. They got the right size nut this time. He had one of those twizzlers. He was just going as fast as he could, and when he tried to pull it back, the piece of ratchet stayed right on there. The socket stayed on there, so he reached and tried to grab it. Unfortunately, these things have some huge Nerf bars on them. Caught him a little bit on the leg and turned him a little bit sideways. You see him try to grab it right there, but unfortunately, he ends up sitting on the race car, and about this time, the leaders go down the front stretch. So J.B. Fortin's going to have to fight back from a lap down or hopefully get the lucky dog now. But that crew doing a whale of a job. You see the extra air cover on the ground, but they had to put one on this car. And now they've got to try to get it really turned straight, more than likely. But it looks like we're getting the 1-to-go signal, so the way they are is the way they are going to be. You see a couple of cars getting their free passes back onto the lead lap, or at least a lap back out here on the racetrack, and it's time to go back to the checkeredflag.com. 150. We're 80 laps in now, buddy.
Field is being re-racked as we get set to go back racing. Coming to the green flag here at lap number 81. Doug Kobe will restart as the race leader. Justin Bonsignor to his right elbow. Row 2 is Austin Beers and Ron Silk. Pace truck hits pit lane. Green flag is out. We're back underway at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Doug Kobe on the inside will pedal by. Here, bringing with him Ron Silk in car number 16. Not so fast. Justin Bonsignor battles back to the outside. We're side by side for position number 3. Coming back to put lap number 82 in the books. The battle's still on. Here comes Frank Johnson, car number 82. He's trying to go all the way down to the apron to get around the 64 of Austin Beers off the 2.
Yeah, Lutz got a little bit of a lucky break there because Beers came off of turn number 4 a little bit sideways. It's going to give Silk a chance to drop himself, Ron Silk, down into the 3rd position. And now Lutz is on the attack, even on Ron Silk now. The 82 car feels like he's got a little bit of the old Superman cape hanging out. He's going after the 3rd spot.
Craig Lutz and John McKennedy up 1 spot to 4th and 5th as they combine to start finish line. Here comes the 22 car looking down at the bottom as well. That's Kyle Ebersol. As he, I make a correction, that's going to be the 22 machine. That is Kyle Bonsignor, who rides along in 13th spot. Working through turns 3 and 4 as the race leader tries to run away and high from the field. We're watching John Kennedy, the point standings leader, working it over there with Craig Lutz as they come off of turn number 2. Ron Silk going to the inside. The battle's going to be on for a 2nd spot. Can he make it stick coming off of turn 4?
Silk getting down there. So is Lutz. He got all 4 tires down on the apron that time off turn 4. Had to hang on to it the best he could. Great job of just broad sliding that machine off the corner. And we talked about his name a lot earlier. Look who's in 6th spot right now. Kyle Ebersol has made his way through the field. Adjustments late in the race. We're at least just past the midway point. They brought the 5 car into the battle right now. But, man, what a job right now for John McKennedy coming back through the field after having to be caught on the outside twice, having to come down here and make adjustments. He's been able to come through the field up to the top 5 right now. And watch as Ron Silk, oh, man, Silk down on the bottom of the racetrack, got a little bit turned sideways off of Lutz's front bumpers, but it was actually able to make him dive in the corner and pull up underneath Bonsignor. Man, Doug Kobe's loving this. He's able to check out a little bit more.
Bonsignor, one eye out the mirror, one eye looking ahead as he's trying his best to keep Ron Silk at bay. Ron Silk feeling pressure now from Craig Lutz, that orange 82 car. They're stacking it up from 2nd all the way back to 5th. As we mentioned, Doug Colby trying to pull away from the rest of the group. His advantage now a little more than a half a second as Lutz gets squirrely coming through turn 2. McKennedy maybe starting to get a little impatient because they're ready to get closer to the front as laps begin to click away. They get around this racetrack in less than 16 seconds, so it doesn't take long for the race to run away. Here's the battle for 2nd, side by side. Ron Silk on the inside, Justin Bonsignor on top side. Justin's been there for most of the race. He's trying to protect it, but Ron Silk will take that 2nd spot. And here comes Craig Lutz following in his tire tracks.
That 16 car is bad fast, and so is that 82. Here comes Lutz. Craig Lutz to the bottom under Justin Bonsignor. He'll clear him for 3rd spot, but Ron Silk now has a new pair of cross eyes, and he's put him right on, crosshairs, pardon me, and he's put him right on the back end of the 7 of Doug Kobe. He sees that Tommy Baldwin 7 machine, and he wants to go give a challenge to him. Craig Lutz up to the 3rd spot. Justin Bonsignor back to the 4th spot, and a great run once again. But John McKennedy right now running in 5th spot, 79. Great recovery. Kyle Ebersol now, he's got a little bit of company. Tommy Catalano's right on his back bumper cover, and he's brought Kyle Bonsignor with him.
Here comes Craig Lutz, briefly looking to the inside of Ron Silk for that 2nd position. The top 3 all in the 15-second bracket, so they're running very competitive speeds, about 15.9 seconds as they circle this racetrack. Craig Lutz trying to make it happen as they work off the backstretch now into turns 3 and 4. The gap, well, it's closing up as we come back now to put 96 laps on the scoreboard. A little further back, that's where we find the 54 car. And a good action there. It's Tommy Catalano and Kyle Bonsignor in the 22 car as he tries to make his march back to the front. And then behind them is car number 5.
And when we dropped the green flag again, we saw Kyle Ebersol up there with that number 5 machine. Well, after we've run a few laps, he's fallen back a little bit, and he fell into the clutches of Catalina and Bonsignor. Both bypassed him now. So Bonsignor's machine, we saw it took about almost 20 laps for that car to really come in, the 22 machine. That's Kyle Bonsignor right there on your screen in the gray and pink and white number 22, the 54 of Catalina. Right up ahead of him, Tommy Catalina at Ontario, New York, the FX Cabrera Chevrolet, number 54, trying to run his own line around this racetrack as now your leader starting to get his first challenges of the night. He'll work to the outside of Walter Sutcliffe Jr. out of Manchester, Connecticut. Put him a lap down here on the racetrack, but the 7NY starting to see a silver car getting bigger in the rearview mirror.
Indeed, that is the case. The lead tightening up as we work off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Up to this point, it's been all Doug Covey here at lap 100. 2/3 of the race has now been completed, but Ron Silk seeming to come to life. Although that last lap, Ron Silk was a 1/10 of a second faster than Doug Covey. So, of course, Covey having to keep that into consideration as he tries to stay just ahead by a good 3 car lengths or so over the 16 car. Greg Lutz continues to ride along in 3rd position. But we've seen so many times over the years, one driver can dominate the entire event. Somebody like a Doug Covey a few years back who led 100+ laps of the race. But in the end, somebody else can come back and snatch it from you.
Yeah, I tell you, and Justin Bonsignor's getting his hands full now. He's got a couple of racers coming up behind him. As our leaders were starting to tighten up, I look back in the field and you see those 4 or 5 cars come streaking through the screen. There's the 51 machine. He's got the 79 of John McKennedy right in his tire tracks now. He was about maybe 4 or 5 car lengths ahead a couple of laps ago, but lap traffic has brought him back to the 79 machine. Tommy Catalina right in his tire tracks with the 22 machine of Kyle Bonsignor right behind them. So those 4 cars all battling on the racetrack right now for the 4th position out here. So that's a great battle for 4th. 4 machines from 4th through 8th all in one shot on your screen. So it's great tight racing action here at Langley.
So close you could throw a blanket over them as they work off of turn number 2. Right now the 51 car has the 4th spot, that being Justin Bonsignor. Everybody following his tire tracks as they work off of corner number 4. Laps winding away, 106 are on the scoreboard. At this point, drivers have to be thinking about the closing lap and what they need to do, what position they need to be in if they want to win this event. And of course, strategy, well, it's certainly at the top of everybody's mind.
107 laps on the board. Leader working his way down the backstretch and coming up on some seriously heavy traffic through 3 and 4 right now. He's got Gary Putnam right ahead of him, but Eric Goodale's machine, there's like 5 cars, and they're making contact right in front of your leader all the way through turn 4. Here goes Covey. He's going to cut it left. He's going to get done with this. He doesn't want any part of it.
His heart rate. We got cars around here in turn number 2. Yellow flag flies for the 3rd time this evening here at lap number 108 because of a couple of cars going for a wild ride. That includes the 58 car who has looped it off of turn number 2. That's Eric Goodale, as well as the 01 entry of Melissa Fifield. They are both have spun. Looks like the 58 has continued, but Melissa Fifield is facing the wrong direction.
Yeah, a little northbound in the old southbound lane, as a couple of my buddies at MRN would say. But right now, our caution flying once again tonight. I believe this is our 3rd one. The first one coming for J.R. Bertuccio's machine, expiring a motor down in turns 3 and 4. Debris caution bringing out the 2nd caution of the night.
Here's a replay of what took place coming off of turn number 2. Looks like the 58 car got in the back of a slow 01. So it looked like Eric Goodale and Melissa Fifield make contact. And, of course, Fifield is now rolling, as is the 58 of Eric Goodale.
Wrong place, wrong time.
And that happens sometimes in racing, particularly on a short track, a Saturday night. There's limited real estate, so contact can be made. But it looked like something slowed the 01 car. She was way up in turn number 2. Eric Goodale just couldn't get on the binders quick enough or get out of the way fast enough.
Yeah, I think all that happened when Doug Covey caught those lap cars. She was just ahead of them. So I think her spotter told her, get way up the track. You've got double wide traffic coming behind you that includes the leader. So she probably tried to get up to the top side of the track. When everybody backed off at the bottom, Goodale went to the top side of the racetrack, and there was nothing there but the 01 car, so he just got in the back end of her, just nowhere to go.
Guess what? There's only 39 laps remaining. This race is going by in a hurry. Doug Covey, the dominant car all evening long, has led the opening 111 laps. He's hoping to continue that march as we continue to go through this race. But Ron Silk, we watched him. He was coming on in a hurry. Let's see what he has to do here in these final few laps.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that silver machine is bad fast after their pit stop that they did at the break. Whatever adjustments they made, he and Craig Lutz were really right there, almost right identical. One could get in the corner better, one could get off the corner a little bit better, but that was about the only difference between those two cars. Wholesale on pit road, including Austin Beers, whatever they did to his car in the break, he said, please put it back.
He suffered quite a bit there because he was in third spot, and that car free fell through the field as far back as 6th or 7th. He is coming down pit lane. It looks like they're going to make a rear tire change on that race car, and maybe, I don't see if any adjustments have been made, but nevertheless, not as happy as he was early on in this event when he had been all the way as high as third spot. Several other drivers down pit lane. That does include the 34 car, J.B. Fortin, was down there, as is the 99 car who begins to roll on the racetrack, J.B. Tomeno. He'll be rejoining the party, as is car number 18, Ken Hagee, who was up to 8th position.
And Eric Goodale also came down pit road after being involved in the incident, wanted to go ahead and get the car checked over, probably maybe even change tires if he flat spotted him trying to not run into the 0-1 machine. So just wholesale pit stops once again here from about position 14 on back down here. But Doug Covey's led the entire thing so far. Rod Silk, though, like we talked about, we've well documented, he's got a very fast number 16 car. Craig Lutz right behind him in the 82. Justin Bonsignor in the 51, and John McKennedy rounds out your top 5.
Let's talk about Craig Lutz for just a moment. You talked about how successful he is. This is a milestone evening for that driver out of Miller Park, New York. This is his 100th career start.
Wow. Well, welcome to Langley Speedway for that, buddy. There you go. Hampton, Virginia ended up being his 100th career start, so congratulations to him on reaching that milestone, that's for sure.
Going back racing next time around, the field now will go 2 by 2 as they'll come to the restart on lap number 115. Doug Covey, he's executed a flawless evening. Can he continue to hit his marks and take that car to winner's circle at the legendary Langley Speedway, celebrating its 72nd season of competition? Doug Covey having to hold off a hard-charging Ron Silk, as Ron Silk will join to his right elbow. Row 2 will be Craig Lutz and Justin Bonsignor. Row 3 will make up John Kennedy and Kyle Ebersol. Coming again to the green flag, the Toyota Tundra pace truck will make the hard left. Who will win tonight's checkerflag.com 150? We're getting ready to settle business here this evening. Green flag is back in the air.
Covey with a great start, is able to launch out front. Ron Silk trying to clear Craig Lutz's machine. He will do so down the backstretch. Lutz looked like he was going to try to jam it in there, but the 16 machine took a left turn right down in front of him. It's going to catch Justin Bonsignor on the outside of the track. Here comes John McKennedy from the inside.
He's up to 4th position now as he'll go by the 51 of Justin Bonsignor off at turn number 2. We'll continue to race side by side. A little further back, we see the driver of Austin Beers in the mix. He's riding along in 7th position. Race leader Doug Covey across the start-finish line. Back in turns 1 and 2. Single file for the most part. A little further back, we see Kyle Bonsignor in the 22. He's on the high side. Here comes the 18 car dialing up the inside lane as they work back to 3 and 4. So we'll go side by side here. That's a battle for position number 8.
Trying to dial it up on the inside right now. A little bit loose through the center of 1 and 2. Kyle Bonsignor able to take advantage of that. Right now, Austin Beers is the man on the attack. Whatever they did on their adjustments, he is coming to the front as you see Goodale trying to make his way around the outside of Hagee's machine. Down on the bottom, Hagee gets a little bit sideways once again. Ken Hagee in the 18 able to hang on. But man, Austin Beers, they put 2 brand new racing tires on the back end of that machine, and it has brought it to life. He is now back up inside, I believe, your top 5 machines. He just passed the 51 of Bonsignor.
Indeed, Austin Beers is up to 5th spot as just 30 laps remain in this one in Hampton, Virginia. Everybody chasing Doug Covey, who's turning the very fast lap times, even here at lap number 121. I think that car is really good on the short runs. He is just pulling away from second place is Ron Silk, and there you see car number 64, Austin Beers. Good time battle.
Yep.
One car is going around. That's the 22.
That's Kyle Bonsignor. Yeah,
Kyle Bonsignor.
That was just an accordion all the way back as much as you can think about it. between, it looked like the Justin Bonsignor machine, Kyle Bonsignor, a whole bunch of them back there together. And it just accordion back to where the bumpers clacked between the 22 and another machine, and around he went.
Kyle Bonsignor, one tour win here over the years, trying to make it number 2 here tonight, goes for a spin. Let's take a look at what took place over in turns 3 and 4. It looks like he and Jake Johnson and another car just behind him make a little contact. Eric Goodell. Eric Goodell's now been in a couple of incidents here this evening at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway.
Yeah, it looked like Bonsignor tried, Kyle Bonsignor tried to come in on the outside to make a diamond move on the 3 car, and Goodell already had the bumper underneath of him. The two just made just enough contact, and as big and wide as these tires are, you get a bunch of laps under them, they get really slick out here, so you can barely touch the throttle, and that's just what happened. Just enough of a nudge that around he went. You can see the 3 machine of Johnson go in, and it looked like Bonsignor caught him so fast that he actually had to back up to the 58, and just enough contact to those cars to end up making that 22 swap ends.
So 3 cars get together. The worst end of that deal is that driver. It's 33-year-old Bayshore, New York's Kyle Bonsignor brings the car to the attention of his crew to get it looked over. Also in the pits is going to be car number 34, Eric Goodell. Excuse me, a correction. That's going to be car Fortin, J.B. Fortin down on pit road under this most recent yellow flag, now with 26 laps remaining here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. But Kyle Bonsignor's back on the racetrack.
Yep, Jamie Tomeno also coming down pit road, getting some adjustments. See
what happened on pit road. The 22 was coming down. Of course, they wanted to make sure the tires were flat spot.
Oh, wow.
Heavy contact with Jamie Tomeno, as Jamie Tomeno was also coming down, looked like the pits, but Kyle, and he made heavy contact. You got to wonder if that did damage to that race car.
I was sort of wondering after the spin why if you watch if it went further, the crew member comes around and starts checking the right front suspension, and I was like, all he did was spin. Why are you checking the right front suspension? I didn't see that. So
one of those things you don't expect in the sport of auto racing, but indeed, here's one more look. At the last minute, the 99 decided to come down pit lane and turned right into the side of the 22 of Kyle Bonsignor.
When he comes down pit road, he comes to the attention of his crew, and he's telling them, I just took a wicked hit to the right front. Check it out. And you see this crew member, he immediately comes out and he's checking the control arms, making sure nothing's broken loose, nothing. You see is wiggling, trying to make sure of everything, including the control arms, the upper A's, lower A-frame, making sure everything's good on the right front of that 22 car. That was a pretty serious hit for these open front wheel cars.
It'll be 23 laps remaining when we get the green flag here this evening. But indeed, the 22 car, Kyle Bonsignor, is back out of the racetrack, hoping to make hay here in the final few laps. Doug Coby, Ron Silk on row 1. Does anybody have anything for Coby here in these final few laps of the evening? Who's going to leave Hampton, Virginia victorious? Pace trucks getting ready to go back down pit lane. Doug Coby will need to hit his marks and hit them perfectly now as we go back to green flag action.
Coby fires up this time. Ron Silk stays within the right rear of the car, but he backs off for the corner, and Coby does not. Man, that car is in the racetrack on the cold tires. Doug Coby down into turn number 3. He's got Ron Silk, Craig Lutz now under fire from the outside. It's a great race off the corner between him and McKennedy. Down into turn 1. They'll continue that battle as Austin Beers starts to stick the nose up into the top 5 battle.
Austin Beers is trying to go by on the inside as well, but John McKennedy's not letting go. He's trying to battle back on the high side, working off of corner number 4 for the 3rd spot as Doug Coby and Ron Silk begin to pull away here in these closing laps. But one thing that's different on this most recent restart is Ron Silk is right there with Doug Coby. He's within a car length now as this great battle for 3rd spot now has 3 cars in the mix. And again, that's the Austin Beers car who's come back to life. He fell as far back as 12th. Even after starting this race in that position, he worked himself inside the top 3. Had to bring that car back to the pits here in the middle stages of the race. It's come back to life now. He's going with the 82 of Craig Lutz as he'll try to pass the 78 car, make that the 79 John McKennedy as they go back to turns 1 and 2. McKennedy not letting go of the 82 of Craig Lutz.
McKennedy's upstairs. He's not coming downstairs right now. He wants to make this move work, and he's able to get Lutz to go ahead and burn the right rear a little bit. He'll actually cross the line just ahead of that machine, so that give that 79 machine the 3rd spot on that lap, and he will clear Lutz down into turn number 3. Great run by John McKennedy on the top side of Langley Speedway. Here comes Beers. He saw that happen. Austin Beers wants to repeat the feat. He's upstairs now on the 82.
Doing it the hard way, typically the inside, the shortest distance, the fastest way around the racetrack. John McKennedy says, nope, I can do it on the top side. Indeed, he does. He'll take over the third spot. Here comes Austin Beers. He's trying to make himself get around Greg Lutz. He goes side by side in turns 1 and 2. As this happens, your race leaders are continuing to pull away. Now as we'll come back to the stripe, it'll be just 15 laps to go in this one. It's been a thriller all evening long. It's going to come down to 4 or 5 drivers who may have a shot at going to winner's circle.
And I'll tell you what, Eric Goodale just about got another taste of the back bumper of the 22 of Kyle Bonsignor. They went down into turn number 1, and Bonsignor went right across the nerve bars of the 58. He's right behind Kyle Eversole working down the front stretch now as Beers finishes the pass finally on Craig Lutz. He'll go up into the fourth spot, pardon me, as he will now try to chase down the 79 machine of John McKennedy before these laps wind down. But it's getting pretty spicy back here between the 58, the 22, and the 5 of Eversole.
Eric Goodale trying to make it happen as they work through turns 1 and 2 at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Eversole on the high side. Here comes the 54, Tommy Catalano. That's a battle for position number 7. Catalano has it at the moment. Here comes the 22. He's also on the inside as they work back one more time. There is just 12 laps remaining in this one. Good racing all over the field. Right now, Craig Lutz puts his car back inside the top 5. Craig Lutz is running along a good spot. Just behind him, trying to get around, is Justin Bonsignor.
I'll tell you what, J.B. Fortin, I think he's a lap down to your leaders, but he is giving Craig Lutz every bit of fight that he can possibly muster right now on the racetrack. And here comes Eric Goodale. He's in the battle now. And that is a battle for position between those two machines. If the 85 can get by the 58 can get by the 82, that'll be a top 5 run again tonight. And man, they make a little bit of nerve bar contact. They're going to stroll right through the center of the quarter. And they've got both Bonsignors right behind them, Kyle and Justin, in that order.
Austin Beers goes around for second. I make that for third spot. So Beers is able to get around McKennedy as we go almost 3 wide, racing through turns 3 and 4. One car way on the inside. That's the 5th place is Craig Lutz as we come down to corner number 4 as we continue to close in. Just 8 laps remain. It's almost done here this evening. The 22 sideways entering turn number 3, trying to keep a driver at bay.
The battle for 5th, man. Justin Bonsignor slammed that car all the way down on the apron on the entrance of turn 3. Craig Lutz has fallen wholesale backwards. I don't know exactly what's going on with that machine, but it is definitely going the wrong direction in this field. Oh, and that's going to be a little bit of contact between the 3 machine of Jake Johnson and a couple of cars. They're going to save these cars, but man, that could have been a real bad deal for Doug Kobe. Ended up having another restart. Austin Beers coming up on some lap traffic suddenly. But man, these last few laps showing some serious action as the extended palm of our official on the flag stand. Only 5 circuits left, Brian.
The gloves are off. It's time to battle. Who is going to win? If you can't win, finish as high as you possibly can. Drivers have been kind to one another possibly for the opening laps. Maybe not so much anymore. Everybody battling for position. Here's Justin Bonsignor. He currently rides in 5th spot. Tommy Catalano right now is in 6th. He'd love to take that spot from him. That's that red 54 car. He wants to leave here with the top 5. Doug Kobe ahead of them, but this is Justin Bonsignor right now working off of corner number 4. The laps are winding down here this evening. Who is going to get it done? Right now, the battle's for 5th.
Catalano right on the tire tracks and right on the back bumper bar of Justin Bonsignor. Down into turn number 3. They're getting ready to swing off of turn number 4. They're so close on the straightaways. Last time down the backstretch, it looked like that chrome bumper made a little bit of contact to that black painted back bumper. And here comes the white flag. Last time around the racetrack, leaders in 1.
Doug Kobe dominated the inaugural event back just a few years ago in 2017. Was not able to get it done. Flash forward to 2022, and for the 34th time in his career, Doug Kobe wins at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway for the checkeredflag.com 150.
Great racing by everyone. Here comes 4 cars in a knot, 1 lap machine, and Justin Bonsignor will actually end up in your top 5. So Doug Kobe in the 7, Ron Silk in the 16, Austin Beers in the 64, John McKennedy in the 79, and Justin Bonsignor, your top 5 finishers. Great racing action all race long.
Doug Kobe and team dominated the race here this evening at one stage. It looked as though Ron Silk was going to be able to overtake that driver, but in the end, it was Doug Kobe who won this race. Margin of victory, 0.7 seconds over the 16 of Ron Silk. What a big night for Tommy Baldwin Racing. We talked about how dominant they have been here in 2022. They come to Hampton, Virginia, and continue their winning ways. Of course, they lead the point standings as far as the owners' championship standings, so they're trying to continue to keep that moving forward here this evening. Doug Kobe is victorious. He's here on the front stretch, takes the checkered flag, will do the Polish victory lap around this speedway and celebrate with the fans as the Musco lighting system will help him celebrate here this evening. And I tell you, Buck, with a car that was so strong, a driver that's so talented, how do you think this feels to he and his team?
Well, I mean, after his dominant performance but not ended up in victory lane a couple of years ago, redemption. That's the number one thing for him. Tommy Baldwin, we saw him down there shaking hands and doing fist bumps with the entire 7NY team. He knows he builds great premium machines. He has a premium driver behind the wheel, and it came out on top just like they hoped it would. And that's why he put Doug Kobe in the driver's seat of this machine. And there he is right there, Tommy Baldwin. Folks, the family history and heritage behind that 7NY number back in victory lane with Doug Kobe, a 6-time champion. That's the mixture you want in the bowl every time you go to the chef's spot.
Milford, Connecticut's Doug Kobe, who came into this race, led the most laps here in 2022. Obviously, puts even more laps in the leaders column. He has won here this evening, getting ready to go trackside and get the thoughts of tonight's race winner, who just had a birthday. And we talked about during the pre-race how sweet it would be if he could win here a week later. And indeed, he's been able to do that. Fist pumps from crew members. Going to get a nice cold water to cool down on a hot, late August evening in coastal southeastern Virginia.
Yeah, Doug Kobe knows exactly what he can do with a race car, and he once again has proved it tonight here with teaming up with Tommy Baldwin. Like you said, wasn't even on his list for being in this race tonight early in the season. He and Tommy Baldwin got together, and they are ready to go celebrate here in Dale Lemons Victory Lane in Hampton, Virginia. What a great performance all the way together in checkeredflag.com 150.
All right, let's go trackside to Winner's Circle and get the thoughts of tonight's race winner.
That's right, Doug Kobe jumping out of his car, celebrating with the fans. His team, Tommy Baldwin Racing. Doug, you came here in 2017, you got the pole, you dominated the race, but you weren't able to finish it all. Tonight, you did all of that, and you finally put it back in Dale Lemons Victory Lane tonight.
Yeah, what a great car prepared by Tommy Baldwin. You know, racing's an interesting sport, right? I mean, a week ago, things didn't go so well between me and this car, and here I am driving it to victory lane here at Langley, and this is just all about Tommy and his team and the hard work they put into making this car fast at every type of track and any driver that's in it. And this track changed since 2018, I can tell you that much. We were all talking about it today, and it's a very different place than when we last came here 4 years ago. But we really want to thank all the people here that came out to watch this race at Langley, Bill Mullis and everybody here, checkeredflag.com for coming on board sponsoring the race, Whelen Engineering, of course, Baldwin Automotive, and everybody that helps out on this car. It's just it's awesome to have modifieds down here in Virginia. It's such a great trip. I'm a University of Richmond graduate, so I'm kind of a pseudo-Virginian, and I love coming down here and putting on a good show for these fans.
What does it mean to come back here again like we talked about in 2017? You had the trouble at the end of the race. You weren't able to get the win that night. To come back here 5 years later and make it happen.
Yeah, you know, trouble at the end of the race usually comes from someone else's bumper. You don't just kind of run into it. But listen, you know, these guys were coming. I know the 16 and the 64 battle to get up into the top two. And, you know, anything can happen here, especially with the lap cars. You know, fans don't realize it, but the lap cars makes you go real wide, and you get into the marbles up there. And, you know, a guy running second and third can close in 2 or 3 car lengths in a matter of a corner. So, you know, it means a lot just to come here. It's like, you know, anytime you kind of come to a newer track for all the teams, it's always nice to get a win. And, you know, again, this is all about Tommy and his team and the effort that they put in, not only just this past week to get the car here, but, man, what a rocket ship all season. And it's been a long time since I've been fastest in practice, won the pole, won the race, and led all the laps. So just a testament to this team and what they do.
All right, but there's your winner, Doug Kobe, who did the racing trifecta, getting everything in first place today, and he lands himself in Dale Lemons Victory Lane.
It was his 34th career win here tonight for the 6-time champion. He delivers in a big way, and of course we talked about domination. That indeed was the case for Doug Coby, has won here tonight at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Want to talk about the second place finisher? That's Norwalk, Connecticut's Ron Silk in the 16 car. Of course, we talked about the tight points battle entering this race here tonight. It's going to tighten up even more as Ron Silk finished second. John McKennedy, who came into this race 5 points ahead, he finished this event in fourth. They knew what they had to do tonight, but Ron Silk winless in 2022. Unfortunately, he'll continue to be winless in this season, but this driver made his first start at this racetrack here tonight, and he had a good run. Watching the celebrations continue down in Winner's Circle, let's go hear the thoughts from our second place finisher here tonight of Ron Silk.
That's right, we're down here with Ron Silk, runner-up tonight in the checkerflag.com 150. Ron, you made a late charge there to try to get up to Coby at the end there, but just didn't quite have enough.
Yeah, they were just a little bit better than we were. I could stay with him there for a few laps after that last restart. I know we were both running pretty hard at that point, but he could just kind of inch away, and slipped up one time getting into one and lost a good bit of ground all in one shot, and that was about it for me. But great job by all my guys. Can't thank my entire team enough, and we'll go to the next one and try again.
All right, well, that's Ron Silk, your runner-up tonight here at Langley Speedway.
Ron Silk with another outstanding finish here this evening. He's actually tied with points leader John McKennedy for the most top 5s and top 10s here in 2022. So they both will continue that feat here tonight. As again, you just heard the thoughts from second place's Ron Silk. Hey, Buck, it's a career night for our third place finisher, Austin Beers, in the 64 car. Not only was he the top rookie finisher in tonight's field, that's his best career finish ever. It was 7th prior to tonight at Lee Speedway.
Yeah, and that was a very, very hard-earned third place finish, because at one point when they had the break, he came back out and it was like they put a parachute on. He just fell backwards like crazy. Well, they came in after a short green flag run before the next caution, put on a couple of brand new rear tires, and he drove himself right up to third spot.
Let's go hear from him.
That's right, we're down here with your third place finisher for tonight, Austin Beers. Your first top 5 in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. How does it feel to get this far up?
It feels great. I mean, it's been a dream of mine to run on this tour, so to get a top 5 and a top 3 especially, and how we're coming on at the end, it feels amazing.
Now, obviously you're a rookie, so every race this year is the first time you've been to many tracks. But what were some of the challenges you had to overcome tonight to get to third place?
I think what everybody else had. They were struggling off of 2, and just finding the balance of the car to make sure it turns and to get off of turn 2. And, I got to shout out to Evergreen Raceway, because I wouldn't have ran as good as I did if I didn't run there, because this track is very similar to there. So I just got to thank KLM Motorsports, Murph and Maggie for everything, Sly, Ron, my dad, everybody on the crew.
All right, but there's your third place finisher, a career night for Austin Beers.
So it was a career night for a lot of folks, including the third place finishing Austin Beers as he comes home with a third spot. But we cannot overemphasize Doug Coby and that team, how successful they've been over the years. And tonight, as we see the celebration happen with Bill Mullis, track owner here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, just a fantastic night of action.
Yeah, I tell you, there's so many saves tonight. There's so many cars that were aimed towards the infield off of the bumpers of the cars behind them, and they were able to save those cars. Only a few times did we see them actually go around, make a little bit extra contact, stuff like that. So kudos once again to the Whelen Modified Tour from NASCAR coming in here to Langley Speedway. You heard Doug Coby allude to this track has changed so much since 2018 in 4 years. We've got the new paved areas on the bottom. We've got different stuff. The asphalt's wore out a little bit more. It's a little bit aged. It's a little bit more defined and refined, like a fine wine. This racetrack has got a great racing surface. And these drivers showed great talent. You heard Ron Silk. You could see it in his face. He wants that win so bad, and he could almost keep up with the Doug Coby machine, but not able to do so.
Doug Coby gets it done here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Just celebrated his 43rd birthday, and he is victorious in Hampton, Virginia, after an exciting night of racing that saw 4 yellow flags.
A couple of close calls on pit roads, and a couple of close calls out on the racetrack that resulted in some caution, but great racing action all the way around.